Welcome to Capitol Hill Mixtape, presented by RIAA. I'm your host, Tom Cleese. Welcome back to Capitol Hill Mixtape, presented by RIAA. I'm your host, Tom Cleese, and today it's my honor to present to you Congresswoman Brittany Pettersen of Colorado. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. I don't usually get to do fun interviews like this.
Well, we'll try to make it as fun as we can. Congresswoman, you are brand new to Congress. You are learning a lot about Washington, D.C., and we would love to learn a bit about you. Could you tell us a little bit about how you made the decision to enter public life, and what is the music that will always remind you of when you decided to take the leap?
Good questions. So I actually, I guess my path getting into politics and ultimately running for office really started with my life experiences. I grew up in Jefferson County, which is the area that I've represented for 10 years in the legislature, and very honored to represent the community that I grew up in Congress. And it was really because of that community and my access to amazing schools and teachers that believed in me that I was able to overcome a lot of obstacles that I faced at home as a high-risk youth. And so I became the first in my family to graduate from high school and college and went a much different path than I was likely to go. So I know firsthand how critical those public investments are for leveling the playing field for regular people. And that's when I ultimately decided to get involved. My first job, it was the 2008 Obama campaign. I was an organizer in South Jefferson County. And it was, I never thought I would run myself. And so it was really working for candidates, for issues, and for a nonprofit, engaging young people in state and local government. And ultimately a seat opened up, and a lot of people asked me to run for State House. I was absolutely terrified. And I ended up making the decision because the person that was running moved into the district to run. I think that we need a lot more people at every level of government who care more about what they want to do than who they want to be, and people that genuinely are dedicated to advocating for the people that live there. I stepped up, and it was the scariest thing I've done by far. Congress is nothing compared to the first time running for office. And the songs that I think about, I can't help but bring up the 2008 campaign songs, because President Obama played a really important role in inspiring me to believe in what's possible when we bring people together to affect change. And so Signed, Sealed, and Delivered was one of his campaign songs that I made sure to have at my wedding.
That's awesome. And I know that there's a lot of folks out there who have very fond memories of being fired up and ready to go at all times.
Yes. Except now I realize that, I'm just getting older, where when I say that, people don't know how to respond. When I ask them if they're fired up, they're, looking at me.
We're ready to go.
Exactly.
Well, that's awesome. So you're here now, and we're very, very glad to have you in Washington. Is there a song that is helping you now to either pump up for the job or maybe relax a little bit at the end of the day and kind of get back into your normal person skin again? Like, what's helping you with the ramp up and ramp down in Washington?
DC feels a lot more inspiring and hopeful than you think from the outside. So I can tell you that that's been a very good surprise, being here every day. So I get to meet incredible people. Every second of my day, I'm, booked here in DC with meetings and doing the very important work. But we also have opportunities with, there's a lot of great music in DC. So I've had the opportunity to go see hip hop shows. I went to the National the other night with one of my colleagues who had tickets. And so I do love having the opportunity to see live shows here. The thing though, that kind of winds me down, when I think about winding down, it's not necessarily like getting ready for bed and chilling out. It's more like the thing that you think about with winding down with a lot of the angry people that you come across, not necessarily in DC, but some of the crazy things that happen with comments, messages. And I think of Taylor Swift, you need to calm down. And, and I appreciate her as an artist. And I know my team is a big fan of hers as well.
Well, we love to hear that. Obviously, we're big fans of Taylor here at the RIAA. So my last question for you is, now that you're here, you're setting the agenda. There are things that I'm sure that you're out there ready to talk about in the news, the issues of the day. But every office always has a couple of things that they're working on that are not ripped from the headlines. Is there something that you're working on or plan to work on in the future that you just want a few more people to know about, and it isn't going to come up in an interview on CNN?
Yeah, there's a lot of that great work that never makes the headlines because it's the real work of Congress. And I think that that's some of the most frustrating parts of this is, being here, the small percentage of people who say the most crazy things get the headlines and attention and do the most outrageous things, while the rest of us are rolling up our sleeves and actually doing our jobs. And so the thing that I talk often about is my work on the opioid epidemic. It's something that I've taken on in the legislature for the time that I was there in Colorado, and that I'm advocating for effective changes here at the federal level and the systemic changes that we actually need. So it's personal for me. My mom, she hurt her back when I was just 6 years old and was overprescribed opioids like so many people. And after her back injury healed, she found herself wildly addicted and ultimately was cut off without access to treatment. And my mom always says that, when you're addicted, you fear withdrawal more than death. And so in order to stay well, my mom started using heroin like far too many Americans. Fentanyl's come into the supply chain. So that's when my mom started overdosing at a high rate, was in 2016 as it started to seep in. And so I've seen firsthand the devastating impact of the opioid crisis at every level. And I bring that up just because so many of us, whether you've gone through it yourself, have family members or friends who are struggling with addiction, we need to reduce the stigma to talk about our experiences. This is a brain disease. People who need medical attention and help and support and need to be treated with empathy and understanding. And that means, the policies need to reflect that with the way that we fund treatment and, that we actually fund treatment and recovery services. So that is I take a fun interview and make it sad, but
Oh.
it's but it's something that so many people have experiences in their life, or all of us have it in our community. So I will be fighting for those individuals here in DC.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing your family story with us. Is there a song that you would dedicate to your mom?
Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me cry.
I'm sorry. We've never had tears on Capitol Hill Mixtape, and try not to have them, but I know you're very proud of your mom. I've seen her in, at your various functions, and I know she's got to be really proud of you. But if there's a song you could dedicate to her, we'd love to share that.
Yeah, I would say Fix You reminds me of my mom by Coldplay. She's okay. Sorry, I don't know. I thought you just never know when I'm going to cry. She's actually in recovery. So we're lucky and it's happy, but and then since we were talking about Taylor Swift, soon you'll get better.
Well, thank you. No, sincerely, thank you so much for sharing that with us. We know that music is extremely powerful. It helps people to heal. It helps people to contextualize the things in their lives. And we're incredibly grateful for that and grateful for you.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
It's great to be with you. I hope to see you soon. And thank you, even though I cried for what was supposed to be a fun interview.
We're very grateful for you. Thank you for watching Capitol Hill Mixtape. I'm your host, Tom Cleese, and I can't wait till I get to see you again.